Hey everybody, I hope and pray that you're doing well. Today as we come to our word from the word. And today that word is faithful. Faithful. Now, that's a word that we use all the time. When we talk about the fact that our God is faithful. But now we know that, we believe it, we trust it. But sometimes we don't act like it, or even sometimes, let's be honest, we doubt it or we question it. And I love the fact that throughout scripture, not just the psalmist. You see the prophets, the apostles as well. It's times where they doubt and don't understand exactly what God's doing. They question His timing, but then in the end, a lot of times you'll see that they may question it, but then they come right back to it and say, "You know what, God, I'm sorry. I know you've got it under control." And so, I'm reminded. You remember there's been a challenge that you see on social media and things like that you'll see them have a camera on a little child and they'll set a cookie in front of them and or some snack or some treat or something like that and I remember the old TV shows that focused on what kids would do and kids say the darndest things or stuff like that, those kind of things. They would set this cookie in front of this child and leave the camera on them. And of course, they didn't even know that they were being recorded. And they tell them, hey, you can have this when I come back, but not before I come back. And so then they go out of the room. And so then you can see what the child is honestly doing. And some, will obviously they'll take a little bit of the snack or take a bite and then come back. And when the parent comes back, they'll deny it all. And there's some that'll sit there patiently waiting. And I'm sure for them, what seemed to be forever. Well, if you keep that in the back of your mind, that whole thought, that's kind of what we find today, even in Psalm 13. You'll see that he begins the psalm asking questions. How long? God, how long is it going to be? It's those times where we're like the child that's in the chair, and he said, "Hold on, there's a prize coming, a heavenly prize that's coming. Just wait." And so that just for a moment, let's imagine that we're sitting in the chair, and we really want to do right, and we want to be patient, but we question God's timing. And so if you go to Psalm 13 today and just look at the last two verses, he says this, he says, "But I have trusted in your mercy. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation. I will sing to the Lord because he has dealt bountifully with me." And some of the language that he uses here is actually, it's pointing back to the covenant love that God has for us. It's not just that he says that he loves us, not just that he says that he will love us. He says, "I have made a covenant that I will always love you." And that's an unmistakable love. That covenant love is, oh, it's a beautiful thing. The love of him sending Jesus to die on the cross for us, oh, that love. It passes all explanation and all understanding. But yet we still say, how long, God? How long will you let us go through the troubles? And how long, as we were talking about yesterday, how long will you let the flagrant things continue to be praised and your name dragged through the mud? Well, there's coming a day. There's coming a day that will be able to finally grasp hold of our heavenly prize. But let's be careful to be patient, because he is faithful. He will be faithful. He's coming. He's coming back. He's going to call us home. He's going to rescue us one way or another. If it's rescuing us in our circumstances, then great. But there's coming a day when he's going to rescue us from all earthly circumstances. And that day will be even more than great. But regardless, let's go back to that illustration. Let's not be that child that's in that chair waiting and let's not grow impatient to where we start grasping after things that don't yet belong to us. or we start going after things the wrong way. That's when we think, okay, well, I'm going to have riches and it's heavenly riches, but instead we get distracted and think God's not coming, so we go ahead and grasp at earthly riches. Let's make sure we keep our eyes on the heavenly prize, but also be encouraged by this, that even when we're unfaithful, God is always faithful. And that's good news today. God bless you, and I pray you have a great, great day.